Infant and toddler care and education, a wise investment. The experiences infants and toddlers receive during the first 3 years of life can have a long-lasting impact on their development, academic achievement, and income in adulthood. While there are numerous studies documenting the long-term benefits of investing into the preschool years, more recent studies have revealed that investing into the infant and toddler years has strong, long-lasting benefits as well. When children attend center-based or family childcare programs as infants, they are more likely to graduate high school compared to dropping out, and less likely to be in poverty as adults. Attending center-based programs compared to informal care, such as by a family member, can have a long-lasting, positive impact on a child's social, emotional, language, and cognitive development. Infants and toddlers who attended a center-based program for at least 1 year saw the greatest social and emotional benefits later in childhood. During the COVID-19 pandemic, infants and toddlers who attended group care programs, compared to those in informal care, had higher cognitive abilities. In Chile, toddlers who attended center-based care had higher cognitive and language scores compared to toddlers in informal care. The greatest returns on investments into infancy and toddlerhood may be for the children who are most at risk. One risk factor for optimal child development outcomes is low socioeconomic status, SES. SES is a multidimensional construct combining factors such as an individual's or parents' education, occupation, and income. In 2020, there were 37.2 million people in poverty in the U.S., approximately 3.3 million more than in 2019. Approximately 40% of infants and toddlers live in households that are low income or in poverty. In California, infants and toddlers of color are more likely to be growing up in poverty. The figure on the screen shows the percentage of children under 3 years of age in California, by race, who are living in poverty. Compared to only 7% of white children, 39.2% of American Indian Alaska Native, 31.8% of Black, and 22.2% of Hispanic children are growing up in poverty. The negative impact SES can have on children's development begins to show an effect during the first 3 years. Significant disparities in vocabulary and language processing efficiency were evident at 18 months between infants from higher and lower SES families. In fact, by 24 months, there is a 6-month gap between SES groups in their ability to process language. Importantly, these early differences do not fade. Stronger language abilities as toddlers are related to stronger language abilities and higher cognitive abilities later in childhood. Already, by 21 months of age, toddlers from higher SES families have greater language and memory skills. Early developmental differences related to SES can even be evidenced from brain research. For example, the figure on the screen shows the trajectory of total gray matter growth from 5 to 37 months of age. Looking at the tissue in the brain, there are regions that predominantly contain neuron cell bodies and dendrites, and regions that are largely composed of just axons. These two regions are often referred to as gray matter, the regions with many cell bodies and dendrites, or white matter, the regions with many myelinated axons. During infancy, SES differences are minimal, but by the end of the first year and throughout toddlerhood, a clear pattern emerges as toddlers from high SES families have a more rapid trajectory and overall greater volume of gray matter growth, followed by children from middle level SES. Children from families with the lowest SES level have the slowest trajectory growth and the least overall volume of gray matter by 37 months. The negative impact SES can have on children's development is a worldwide concern. Latin America is a region that struggles with wealth inequality. After examining young children from 5 Latin American countries, differences in language skills between the highest and lowest wealth groups emerged by 3 years of age. In Ecuador and Colombia, children from higher SES families score higher on language and cognitive assessments, and the relationship between SES and ability only grows wider with time. By 2 years of age, statistically significant differences in IQ had emerged between British children of high and low SES families. A cross-country study of children from India, Indonesia, Peru, and Senegal found that differences in child development scores emerged as early as 9 months of age for children in the highest and lowest SES groups. A study from Bangladesh found cognitive differences between SES groups and infants by 7 months of age. The quality of care and education in group care programs during the first 3 years can be an important factor to reduce the impact SES can have on children's developmental trajectory. Children from low SES families score lower on academic readiness and achievement, unless the children attended a formal childcare program during their first 4 years of life, including during infancy and toddlerhood. Infants and toddlers from low SES families exposed to center-based childcare demonstrate better reading, writing, and mathematics scores than low SES children never exposed to center-based programs. Children from low SES families who begin center-based care by 5 months of age have better reading and mathematical skills than infants and toddlers who do not start until 18 months of age or later. Toddlers who were read to every day by caregivers had higher reading and math scores as 4-year-olds. Children who were attending infant childcare programs by 9 months of age had greater cognitive abilities later as 3-year-olds. Although the interaction between SES and child development is complex, research suggests that center-based care is related to greater developmental outcomes due to the quantity and quality of language shared between caregivers and children, along with cognitively stimulating experiences.